Hello, everyone. I'm Jmo. I'm a disgruntled Lakers fan.
And I'm Jefe, and I'm a happy Sixers fan. And this is the Bench Squad.
So you may be asking yourselves, why is JMO disgruntled? And why is Hefe so happy? Shouldn't it be the other way around? I mean, one
This
of
is
us is
NBA champion Jmo we're talking
one of
about.
us is a defending champion and the other one is a Sixers fan, So it's like
Enough said.
um, so our two teams here were the one seeds going into tonight's matchup on ESPN with the two leading MVP candidates, Joel Embiid and LeBron James, facing off in Philly. And go ahead, Hefe. What happened? I'm a little too salty to let it out. I can't.
Well, it's funny because we almost choked. We almost blew it. We almost fucking blew it, So to set the stage, yeah, the game's in Philly. MVP, candidates, top two going at it. Number one seeds going at it. It's a kind of a back and forth physical game all game long, but it looks like the Sixers have their hand on the game going throughout their whole entire fourth quarter. And then 3 minutes left to go. They're up by 10. And what do the Sixers do? Oh, they relinquish a dominating lead that should be, an easy win.
Yeah, they Lakers finally make it competitive. Finally, I mean, it was, Philly would go up 12-14, and then Lakers would cut it to like 4, and then Philly would go back up 10. Lakers would cut it to 5, and then so on and so forth. But Philly held that lead for most of the game. Then in the last 5 minutes of the game, Lakers finally put on a run. They went on like a 12-2 run, I think. And they actually went up 1 with 11 seconds to go. They were down 1, ran a nice little set for AD. LeBron threw a beautiful pass, and they had no chance to guard it. Wide open. Honestly, Danny Green kind of messed up. He could have hedged that screen a little harder, maybe bodied AD a little bit, but AD had a nice clear pass to the rim, got an easy layup with 11 seconds to go. So then we all know what happened. Well, in case you don't.
Yeah, I should have started off there. That's where we should be super excited. Tobias Harris hit the game winner. Following that AD layup, it was like, wow, the Sixers are doing it. This is the Sixers I know and love. It's pain and misery and sadness and all of those things. With 5 seconds left, who is going to get the ball? Joel is the most dominant player on the team, no doubt. But also, you just throw a double at him, and then usually that kind of like deflates anything they do. So instead, they just run an ISO for Tobias Harris, who was having a really good game, by the way, but got the look he wanted. That's his shot right there. He does that little dribble into you, make a little separation, and then kind of, fader a little bit, rhythm, mid-range jumper, and hits the gamer. And the Lakers do not have a timeout to respond with 2 seconds to go.
Yeah, so they, heave up a little half court, yada, yada from AD. But Tobias Harris, I mean, give him credit. He got the switch that he wanted. LeBron was on him, and then they ran a little screen with Seth Curry, so he got Caruso guarding him. Caruso's a hell of a defender, and he cut off the dribble and he got his body in him. But at the end of the day, Tobias is about 6'9", and Caruso's about 6'4", so he just elevated with that little mid-range pull-up. Was able to knock it down. We didn't have a timeout. It is what it is. Honestly, I mean, getting to that point, like being down 12-14 all game, I was at least excited that we finally made it competitive. It really bummed me out to see we played with not a lot of heart, or just kind of lethargic, kind of looked like. And,
I thought the game was played with a lot of energy. You guys maybe didn't put your foot on the pedal until maybe it was a little too late. But I thought the game was really back and forth and very physical. And like you said, I mean, we had kind of a 10-point cushion, it seemed like, most of the game. But, you guys never let go. And LeBron, man, his game management skills, there's moments where it's like, this game could get out of hand right now. And then he hits a clutch three, or, respond I think Joel hits that stupid, running fader, layup, or
thought he got fouled, but
yeah, I thought he got fouled in the lane. And he was like, what was that? And that's like one of those shots where you're like, deflating. And LeBron just immediately just like, all right, I'm going to swap a three right then and there. And
I know, you went up 13 with that little bucket from Joel.
Yeah.
And LeBron came down, and 4 seconds later hits a three, cuts it back to 10. It's just like, all right, we're not going away, thankfully.
Yeah, so I thought that aspect was interesting. I fucking, to ignite that run, it felt so perfect that it was Caruso just on a scramble play. LeBron just beautifully tips it right to him, and he's ready to just pull the trigger and swap, and then there's their lead, or there's your run.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that lineup that we ran at the end with Caruso and KCP, the 3 guard lineup and Dennis Schroeder, and then LeBron and AD, it's our best lineup. And it's usually what we deploy late in games to either seal the deal or to, make that last comeback. And I mean, it worked right there. We're able to, fly around defensively, and then we have multiple catch and shoot guys, and then LeBron and AD attract so much attention.
KCP on that next 3 following that Caruso 3, that was ridiculous. Just like a weird, it wasn't a travel, but it looked like a travel because of the timing of the catch. But that's what he does. That's his, that's how he makes his living. But he just does that sidestep right into, but he's like in traffic, and but he, still Schwab, and to have that next to LeBron and AD is exactly what you need for sure.
Yeah. And honestly, in that same play, credit to LeBron on that pass, man. He went baseline. I thought he was cut off. I was like, that's
he kind of got bodied, but he has the hang time, he has the control, and once he sees a pass, he has the strength and touch.
And he can pass. He can pass with either hand too. So he passed that left-handed, like falling out of bounds, getting bodied, threw it left-handed, perfect bounce pass, and he knows where KCP likes it. At the end of the day, it's just one game, and in the middle of a season, we're still the 2 seed. Y'all are still the 1 seed.
Yeah, don't sound so defeated, man. I mean, you guys are the best team in the league. Yeah. It's unequivocal. You're on Wells Fargo Center floor. We are pretty dominant there, regardless of without fans either. It's super weird, but I just think that was a really good game, and I think the Sixers. You could tell the Sixers wanted it more in terms of like they valued this game a lot, because there has been some talk, about the Joel Embiid MVP train, but also it's like, well, who have they played? They beat the Hornets twice. Ooh,
strength of schedule.
Yeah. And then Celtics without Tatum, and then Heat without their whole entire team, it seemed like. So this was the Sixers' first opportunity to really kind of solidify themselves as a legit team. And I think, like I said, I just think the Sixers wanted it more, and the Lakers are like, yeah, we're here to play, but hey,
I agree with you. It's more, my frustrations aren't so much, it is one loss. We won a championship. I'm not freaking the fuck out about it. It's not a huge deal. My frustrations are with one particular player.
Let's you keep that in your back pocket. We'll get there.
It's there. It's burning. It's burning the whole.
Yeah. So also, interesting things from the game. I thought it was a physical game. I thought the energy was there. I don't think the Lakers kind of just moped around. I just don't think they, pressed it 100%. But LeBron receives his first flagrant foul since 2014, which is just incredible. Like,
that's not
man never falls. This man never gets hurt, and this man never fouls intentionally like that. Like,
fouls out. He never fouls out either.
Oh no, definitely
not even close.
And which is quite remarkable, because he is an aggressor and kind of sets the contact a lot of the time. So it just that control, but also, he's a superstar.
Yeah, the flagrant that he got, it honestly, like on the replay, it looks a lot worse than I think it actually was. He doesn't shove or fully extend.
That's
it's
the
just
whole
Joel,
thing about
the way he.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Well, and when Joel falls, it's
a big deal.
And that was a nasty fall, and it sucked, because it was also kind of Joel's fault, because he didn't catch himself. Like he kind of just tried to
ate it.
Yeah, he just kind of ate it, and I was like, ugh. Joel falls. I mean, you want to talk about a guy that doesn't fall? Jesus Christ, Joel falls more than anybody in the league. And I think I've talked about it maybe on this pod, but a million times any other time, about well, he's huge. So if he's gonna fall, you gotta fall. You can't try to catch yourself. That's when you're gonna hurt yourself. So you just gotta fall. And so that play, that's what the thing with the replay though. It's just once you look at it over and over and over and over again, it feels different than what it was in the moment, which was just a bang bang play. Joel falls.
Yeah, and LeBron's, he's in his 18th year. He's not trying to get dunked on by a big man. So, Joel gets up to throw that shit down, and LeBron is like, nah, man, get out of here.
Yeah,
and then just the way that Joel's feet went and the angle that he was jumping at, it was just a matter of, physics basically. And he takes a pretty hard fall on his back, and I'm sure it hurt. 280 pounds just landing straight on your back like that. But it is kind of crazy to see LeBron get a flagrant. And then I don't know if you saw, but after the game, Joel said that he should have been thrown out for that, because if it was the other way around, Joel would have been thrown out. And it's like,
it's just one of those plays. It's hard, because I don't think there's a lot of there wasn't an intentional to put him on the ground like that, but there was an intentional foul, which that's fouling. Fouling is, impeding the player's ability to do whatever they want to do. So I don't know. I don't think that was necessarily
No,
something
I
you
don't
kick
think
him out
so
for.
either.
It's just shitty that he had that nasty fall, but he came back. He started playing. He was good. He was all good.
Honestly, I'll be honest with you, Jeff. Watching Joel Embiid like playing against your team, it's not a good time.
Oh,
It
but
is not a good
I can
time.
imagine it's probably miserable. One
It's
with
honestly
just getting foul calls. That is probably
that's
just
what it is. I mean, it
not a
was like
foul. No.
early in the third, and he had already taken 12 free throw attempts. I was like, bruh. And he does. I mean, like I'm still kind of seething a little, so I might be coming off a little more hostile than I intend. But he does that same shit that James Harden does, where he sticks his arms out.
He does the thing where it's not necessarily like he's looking for like
A bucket.
he's like not looking for a bucket. He's looking for the foul.
He's looking to catch
And
your arms in the cookie jar. He's foul baiting, which I get. That's a skill. I get.
yeah,
I'm not like a big hater about the whole thing. Just when it's against your team, it's just frustrating. It's not a
yeah,
fun thing
it's
to watch. I'm
frustrating.
a kind of a basketball
And then
purist.
everywhere else he's a monster, and you're just like Jesus Christ. So you're going to be this guy and get all these calls.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to hit threes and you're going to get the offensive rebounds, and then you're also going to shoot
On the flip
20 free
side,
throws.
you would think like Joel is this league's Shaq, you would think about it like that, but LeBron is totally this league's Shaq of like just these refs don't know how to officiate him and they still will never like it just feels like every game you could look at LeBron and be like, oh, there was 5 foot calls that he shouldn't have got, but then there's like 10 other calls that you're like, he got kind of whacked on that. Maybe he should have gotten
Yeah.
the call. And it's
There's
just
so
weird.
many.
It's just weird to see him like it's just so many plays where you're like, fuck, maybe that should have been a foul.
Yeah, there's so many times where he goes to the rim and he just gets hit like on his arm, but he's so strong that it doesn't look like it really affects
There
him
was that
too
one play
much.
where he went at Embiid and Simmons, and like, yeah, like that one, that's a foul. That was a foul.
Yeah.
He got bumped and then grabbed on the arm, but he's so strong that it's just the way his body reacts to contact. It just looks like it's not affected. So
Yeah. Well,
where
his balance and his core strength, they're just next level.
well, where Joel, it is a little more kind of
He's wibbly wobbly. He's all over the place.
wibbly wobbly, falling on the ground, all those sorts of things. Yeah.
Well, speaking of LeBron, man, to see him he scored 46 2 nights ago, and then tonight he scored 34. He's averaging 26 and 7 and 8. He's in his 18th year.
Yeah, we'll get on the
Christ.
LeBron train once we get to the MVP talk that's coming up. We'll appreciate LeBron for all his greatness and everything he does. It is quite remarkable. He's 36 years old and he's still doing this.
I know, it's crazy.
So just a quick recap. Yeah, the Sixers-Lakers game, 2 battle. LeBron scores 34, gets 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Joel Embiid scores 28, has 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks. It was kind of the heavyweight match you want to see. Maybe next time when the teams are a little more geared up for playoff time, that it will be a much more interesting and much more compelling matchup for sure.
Yeah, hopefully. You had that third player that did a lot for you guys. You had Tobias had 24 and 7, and then Ben had a triple double, 17, 11, and 10.
That was a very good Ben game. Ben is, I think, starting to turn the corner from the trade talks and kind of being mixed up and all that and kind of just not looking right. I think tonight he initiated a lot of contact and I really like to see that. And he was kind of finishing and he's just kind of everywhere. So we'll get into that. So it's new year, new teams, it's different than last year, but it's contender watch still the same. So Jmo, I would like you to start. What do you like that's new this time around?
What do I like?
Yeah, what do you like?
That's new?
Yeah.
I like Wes Matthews, actually. I really like Wes Matthews. Really solid, just team defender, pretty good on-ball defender. He seems like if he gets a spot up 3, I feel confident that it's going in. Other additions,
you feel better about Wes than Danny?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. That's
also, speaking of Danny, fuck Danny for hitting 4 threes against
Danny
us
ball tonight. Yeah, Danny kind of did you guys dirty a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not happy.
Hope you guys win a championship. Just remember that as much of a roller coaster ride it was, he still helped you win the championship.
I think if we had Wes instead of Danny, we still would have won the championship last year.
Yeah, but he still did it though. You can't take it away from him. I mean, he did it.
Yeah,
he did the damn thing.
So other things, new things that I like. I'll be honest, not a lot. The new additions to our team, Dennis Schroeder, Montrez, and Marcus Gasol, honestly have really frustrated me more than they have actually given me pleasure. Dennis Schroeder sometimes, and Mark.
Would you say that's because you've seen them on other teams and seen what they can do, and now you're seeing it on your team, and it's not probably that same level because of the nature of their role on the team?
I don't know if it's role based. I think it's just more the consistency in general. Like one game, Schroeder will, he'll have 20 and he'll be attacking really hard and he'll play really good defense all game long, hit his spot up threes, and it's just like that's fantastic. If he plays like that, we're unbeatable. Same with Montrez. Some games he's just a fucking monster. He just wants to get every rebound. He attacks people relentlessly. And then other games they're just like they're nowhere. And then I'm not even going to speak on Marc Gasol really because I don't think that he's going to do shit until the playoffs anyway. I think he's really just going to coast as long as he can, which by all means, you big 38-year-old lovable guy. I love you. It's all good.
It's all good. Just be there, be ready.
But the other two, and then, AD, we'll get into that later, but those three, they were supposed to be the ones that kind of carried us this season because LeBron is so old. Marc Gasol is old. KCP and Kuzma aren't really like carry type guys. We brought in these guys to kind of like carry the load in the regular season so that come playoff time, we have a fresh LeBron, we have a fresh Marc Gasol, we have a fresh Wes Matthews. And it's like they take games off, they take possessions off. It's like, it just doesn't feel like championship basketball. And I don't know if some of that comes along with, being no fans in the arena. It's hard to get up and get going game in and game out without that energy from the crowd. And, you just came off the shortened season or the shortened off season. I get it, but championship basketball is what we're all about here, right? So I
will remind you, you are the first seed, though.
Second seed.
A second seed now, yeah. After
the Jazz have won 10 straight.
Yeah, the Jazz are doing their thing, doing the regular season grind as they always do.
I don't want to be that much of a hater. I do. It's not, we just don't have that much new stuff. So it's like, I still really like LeBron. I like Frank Vogel's defensive schemes. I love Caruso's energy off the bench.
Okay.
I like Jason Kidd's schemes. I like a lot of the stuff on our team. It's just you asked new stuff. We got a couple new players and I'm not all the way sold on it yet.
Okay.
I'd be willing to trade Montrez as of right now. There you go. I said it.
Well, okay. All right. Trade him for something a little more valuable for your role. Okay.
I need more, energy off the bench defensively. I don't need another like 6-7 scorer off the bench. You know what I mean? I need somebody that can come in.
Like it's working so far though.
Yeah. We'll see. Obviously it's all relative.
But I feel that.
Go ahead. What's new for you? Obviously you got a lot of new things.
It's just Joel, man. It's Daryl Morey putting a sensible basketball team around him. Just put shooters around him. It's not that complicated. It can be Danny Green, Seth Curry in the starting lineup, not high profile players, but just put some shooters around him. It's really not that complicated. And Joel just came into the season as fully locked in as he can be. And I like Doc. I like Doc when what he's doing and how he puts specifically Joel, but other players in positions to succeed. And Shake Milton, that's the thing is what I like most is Doc. I think I love what Doc's doing so far. I think he understands roles really well. And I think last season was just kind of like, you fucking put any coach in that situation. I just don't think they succeed. I don't think it's something they can bring out the best in that team. Yeah. I just don't think that was the situation. I just think this year he's putting Joel in the right situations. He gets Tobias in pick and rolls where he, feels a little more comfortable, can make his space. And then off the bench, he brings in Shake Milton to kind of lead the second unit. And I think Shake next to like the starters, like Shake in the starters is like, it's fine. It's good. But like Shake, you want the ball in his hands and that's where he's most effective. And I think just putting him in the second unit and like kind of letting him run the show when Joel's off or Ben's off or whatever, just a lot of fun. So I think Doc Rivers, man, I think I'm vibing. The vibes are high. The vibes are high. And
they should be. You guys look really good. And I think that, the Doc Rivers, Tobias Harris, head coach player relationship is really, really underrated this season. I mean, Tobias played for Doc in LA just 2 seasons ago. And
he played his best, played his best basketball there.
He's a borderline all-star. And there were, so many times this game where Tobias just was able to get an easy bucket on whatever offense that you guys were running at that time. You just run a perfect little scheme and Tobias gets somebody that he knows he can score on, just goes right around him. And he just gets those little layups, high off the glass.
He gets those layups or, like similar to the game winner, like that's his shot. That's what he likes to do. Like his most comfortable shot is a kind of bump with his right off to his left, fading a little, like not really fading all that much, but just like an easy jumper. Cause he's bigger than most people. And once he makes that little separation, it's enough for him to get that shot off. Tobias, I think he's been playing like a new player because Doc, like you said, that Doc relationship is very key because he's been like Doc's like, hey, like you need to like make decisions, like be aggressive and be decisive about what you're going to do. His problem was since dating to back to last season and kind of the first couple of games this season, he was passing up open threes. He would just think too much and he would just kind of like just dribble and dribble and dribble. And it's like, dude, you're not James Harden. Like you can't do that. Like shoot the three, tack the closeout, or pass. Like it can't be a possession where you dribble 5 times. It just never, it's never valuable enough.
Yeah.
So
it's just not a good possession for sure.
So shout out to Doc. We have I'm not hating on Brett. I appreciate Brett Brown for everything he did, but it's nice to have a coach that can start fresh and also kind of pick at these players and be like, hey, like do this. Don't be an idiot. So
I was going to say earlier this season, you said that Shake Milton was your 3rd best player. I think I agree with you, but I think that Tobias is your 2nd best player and Ben is your 4th best player.
Dude, I think Tobias has been our 2nd best player. I don't think there's
this season,
any question.
Without a doubt.
I don't think there's any question. Simmons has gone through a lot of weird stuff, and I am a Simmons stan. I think I watch him every game, and I know what he can bring to a winning team. And I think he got lost in a little bit with kind of Joel functioning. I just think it hasn't been right, and I don't know if it's been injury. I don't know if it's been just all that trade stuff that was happening a couple weeks ago with James Harden. But he just couldn't really find any offensive rhythm or really seem to be valuable at all. And I think Shake has for stretch has been the 3rd best player, but I think the last 4 or 5 games Simmons has returned to his all NBA status.
Yeah. I mean,
because he doesn't need to score 25. He just needs to score like 18,
And the Simmons that we saw tonight that's the 2nd or 3rd best player on your team. I mean, if you guys play like you did tonight, if Joel has 28 points, if Tobias shoots the ball at 60 or 70% from the field and has over 20, and Simmons triple doubles, plays that good defense,
and then just shooters between Seth, Danny, Furkan, just
any of those guys, they hit a couple threes. Dwight Howard plays his roll off the bench. You're all good to go.
I think this team just makes a lot more sense now. It's a lot of bit of fun. So we'll move to the negatives. I asked Jmo what he liked, and he kind of gave me a negative, but this one I know for sure will be 100% the other way. So what do you like that's not? What do you like that's new or what do you not like that's new?
What do I dislike that's new?
Yeah.
You want me to start or do you want to start?
Okay, I'll start. The Simmons things was weird, and I definitely didn't like it. But it's getting better, and so I'm definitely pumping the brakes on any of that sort of thing. What I don't like, I guess that this isn't new, but like that COVID shit was fucking whack, man. Adam Silver's grudge towards the Sixers is just not cool, and that shit was stupid. Making us play 7 players when it's like the 8th guy was a guy we weren't gonna play. I don't know. That shit was stupid.
You played 2 games like that, right?
Huh?
Played 2 games like that?
Yeah, 2 games with like 8 players or whatever. I would say what I don't like is losing to the same teams in the same ways, I guess is what I'd say. Cause like, Pistons the other night, whatever, Joel is out. We are a garbage team without Joel, and it is what it is. So, but like Atlanta, we lost to Atlanta a couple weeks back, and it's just like losing to those teams. It's like, fuck, why are we losing these teams like routinely? And it's in the same ways and it's stuff like that. But honestly, man, I'm kind of riding high. I think for the most part, I'm having a good time. And there isn't, I don't like Danny Green has been on my good side for the most part. I try for my best, just be like, accept the shots he's just going to miss, because he's going to miss more than he's going to make. That's just the reality of 3-point shooting, But other than that, no one's really frustrated me. Dwight's hilarious just because, like, Jesus, he averages the most fouls per minute. It's just crazy.
It's insane.
But also, I think he gets kind of like a Draymond treatment where it's like, oh, that was only called because it's Dwight, not because it was like actually a foul.
I used to think that, but I watched him a lot last season. I watched most Laker games last season, and it's his elbows, man. He's all up here with his elbows and just swings, just like everything is right up here.
I think I've heard some stuff like some announcers were talking about this, that like the league is trying to crack down on some of those like illegal screens, those KG screens, where you're really all arms with it. And I think Dwight's been doing it for years, and they're like, hey, you can't do that. And he's like, bro, I've been making a fucking living off this. Like, You're gonna tell me I can't do this? So it is what it is. Dwight is Dwight. Danny Green is Danny Green, and I will put up with it if this is what it's gonna look like.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a lot worse for role players. You've never had this good of a backup center, so
yeah.
You want me to go?
Yeah, Jmo, what do you dislike about the new feel of the team? What is it?
Well, before I go in, let me just say, I didn't do a lot of positive before. Let me just say I fucking love LeBron now. I was never a LeBron fan my entire life. I've always been a Kobe fan. May he rest in peace. I've always been a Kobe fan my whole life, which means I hated LeBron. I mean, if you talk to any Kobe
It's kind of
fan,
natural.
LeBron was like the next. It was the next big thing. Everybody wanted to talk about LeBron, and
It's
I'm
like
like,
Kobe's
Yo,
still here. It's like, yeah, it's like, what are we doing?
He's still here. He won 2 championships when LeBron was winning 2 MVPs. It's like, what's more important, So I hated him. I hated the decision. I hated all of it. Now I fucking love him, bro. He is awesome. He is just doing so good things, so many good things for us. He carries our team night in and night out. But he shouldn't have to. He shouldn't have to carry our team like this.
And
he shouldn't be the one that's putting forth. He shouldn't be the one that's putting forth this level of effort night in and night out, playing this hard, because we have a superstar next to him.
Who's that, Jmo?
I think we all fucking know who it is. It's Anthony Davis. And this man is soft this season. Let me say it again. Soft. He's soft this season. He is just not trying. And I don't know if like him and LeBron before the season like came together and were like, hey, AD, you take it easy so that I can make us look really good and maybe get another MVP so that I can stack up my resume. I don't know if it's that level of, if there's this many levels to this shit, but that's the only rationale I can possibly come up with to the reason that AD is not playing hard this season and looks like this. He had one good game against Chicago the other night because he was in Chicago. He probably had family watching, probably wanted to put on. Sure, whatever. Chicago every game native, before that, it was like 16 points, 17, 18, like 5 rebounds and 2 assists. And like, yes, they're winning these games. It's fine. But before the season, I had come out publicly and said that I think that AD could be the best player in the league this season. And LeBron said that AD hasn't even scratched the surface of what he's trying to do, that he could be an unparalleled talent in this league. Where the fuck is that? Where's that?
It's not even that like he has not reached that level. It's that he's not even fucking hit the level he was at before, which was last season when they were trying to figure it out.
He hasn't hit the level he's been at before ever in his whole career. He's putting up his rookie numbers right now, basically. Obviously, it's not that bad, but it's bad. This isn't the same guy that was putting up 40 and 20 every once in a while that you never know if he's going to explode. He had 37 the other night, but other than that, he hasn't gone for over 26. I don't know if the whole season. And it's just So
do you think this I need a 5 thing is, you think that's kind of like, if he was just the 5, do you think it would just force him to be like, all right, dude, you're going to bang inside. You're going to fucking get your way inside. Just do it. But do you think because he has Marc Gasol and has a good team, he's like,
100%. I think that if he was our starting 5, we probably wouldn't have lost yet, honestly. Like, if we just rode with that, if we just rocked with that, because we have good forwards already. LeBron, Kuz, Markieff Morris, these are all very solid, serviceable, really good players. Even KCP and Caruso, they're not forwards, but they can bang and they can play defense.
They can play threes. They can play against threes.
Yeah, sure. They can defend threes. It's all good. It's just so frustrating to see AD catch the ball on the block, not make a decision, not make a move, kind of face up, kind of back up, kind of face up, kind of back up, take a couple dribbles. Oh, I got bumped. Oh, there's a double team. Oh, I don't know what to do with it. Oh, bad pass. And it's like 16, 18 seconds of the shot clock. And it's like, okay, well, I guess LeBron's either hucking up a logo 3 or trying to take it to the rim, or somebody's got to bail us out because we just tried to run this possession through our fucking monster of a player and he didn't do shit. Again, even defensively, I mean, he's played pretty good, but it's not consistent. It's just like, I don't want to hear the whole, they came off a shortened off season and they went all the way to the championship and all that.
Well, you just can't say that when the guy on your team is 36 years old and he is playing like an MVP. You just it is kind of silly. And I think it is hilarious because, like you're saying, like, yeah, you love LeBron. You're appreciative that he's doing all these great things, right? But it's like, what the fuck? This should be the other way around. LeBron should be taking it easy. AD should be fucking carrying the load. What are we doing here?
Going into the season, my mindset was that Schroeder, AD, KCP, Caruso, Kuzma, these guys and Montrez were going to like really carry us because they have the talent. I mean, especially like centered around AD. I thought AD was literally going to average like 29 and 12 and 3 blocks. Like that's literally what my mindset was going into the season. And I could not be more disappointed. And I know I'm just an entitled Lakers fan and I just won a championship. I get all the goodies, yada, yada, yada. I can
But
have
no, you're
feelings
watching them
too.
every
Okay.
night. Yeah, you're watching them every night. And I've noticed. I looked at the stats at least, and I'm like,
What are you doing?
21 a game. Is that right?
20,
Like
yeah, 21 and a half, somewhere around there.
that's and then yeah, it's just not a lot. And like, yeah, he is a generational talent. Like there's no doubt about it. And LeBron is probably not. He was not off base by saying like, yeah, he hasn't even touched the surface of what he can do. He hasn't even scratched it. Like, yeah, that's the player he is like that, and he should be dominating in a way. But does this go back to maybe this is the functionality of a LeBron team? He just doesn't know any other way than to be this elite game manager that is going to put up these stats and kind of be this guy. I don't know if LeBron knows how to like. I don't know. I think there's maybe a point that you're making that LeBron kind of has to do this to be the team they are, but I don't know if LeBron has that ability to kind of like let it go to other people when he's still playing like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. And I think that's a good point. And I think a lot of people probably think that. But my only counter to that is that literally last season, AD was our leading scorer. He did it last year with LeBron. And yeah, LeBron led the league in assists and it all kind of still went through him. But AD still did it, even though LeBron was doing LeBron things and it was a LeBron led team and they were the first seed in the West. It was all the LeBron stuff that always happens 17, 18 years now.
And
and AD did it.
Yeah, we joked about this like a couple weeks ago about like AD's kind of packing it, he's kind of just strolling along this season so far. Yeah. But now we're in a quarter away of the season. Like this is a quarter of the games have been played more or less for every team, barring some COVID stuff. But the quarter sample is a decent sample, and it makes you wonder. It's like, what's gonna click? What are you gonna start like? When are you gonna start trying? Because I mean, from my understanding, at least the little I've watched of the Lakers and stuff, it just seems like he just doesn't like bang inside. He doesn't get those gimme buckets. It's just a lot of hard work for not a lot of payoff. I don't know. It's just a lot of settling for sure.
Just settling. That's the perfect word. Just mid-range jumpers, like tough contested fadeaways, and then doesn't really chase offensive boards. If he's scoring, it's literally like a catch and shoot wide open shot or a little dump off that he got created for him by a guard. He doesn't create his own shot at all. And that's always kind of been a knock on AD, is he's not a very good shot creator. But that was kind of like the next step that he was supposed to be taking this season that we were all kind of hoping to see, and that we just haven't. So, I'm hoping that I'm just going to be eating my words here in a few months, that I'm just going to look back at this pod and laugh and, oh, Jmo, you were so angry. Why were you so angry? Look at this masterpiece. Hopefully he's just saving it all up, gearing up for playoff time, and he's averaging 30 in the playoffs.
But he's 26 years old. He shouldn't have to be saving it up like and also like, I don't know, you won one chip, but yeah, LeBron was like a main cause for that. And it's like, I don't know, just the flip the switch teams, like only a rare air of teams can kind of like have that sway of like, yeah, we can just kind of coast. Like, yeah, the Warriors during the regular season, fuck it, you can coast and then flip it on. But like, I don't know, like just AD's doing that at 26 with 2 years, the second year as a Laker. Like that's
what I'm saying. And I think the Warriors are the only example of that team that I've honestly seen in the modern era that can flip that switch, that we saw it happen, where they would just be kind of coasting. And then in the fourth quarter, all of a sudden they are running that death lineup and they put the clamps on everybody, and Steph hits 2 threes and Clay hits a 3 and KD hits a 3, and then they're up by 6 and it's a game over just like that.
Yeah, there's a reason why flip the switch isn't dangerous. You can't just rely on the fact that you're great and then it's going to turn on. Like you gotta start building towards it eventually. So, well, me and Jmo did our contender watch. Yeah, we bitched and whined and had a lot of fun talking about our team.
I bitched and whined. You loved your squad. I'm really happy for you.
I know. I couldn't even really think of anything bad because I'm just like, everything's something so good. I don't know what to do with myself. What do I do?
You haven't felt this since in a while, so I'm happy for you.
I don't know if I ever felt this good about the team. It sucks because it's during COVID land, but like, I don't think I've ever been so confident in my team. Honestly.
Yeah, good for you. I don't know if I've ever been. No, I'm just kidding. Just regular old guy living a regular old life here.
All right. So, like I said, it is quarter of the way through the season. So we're going to move to the MVP talk. We just saw 2 MVPs battle it out. Just first, real quick, especially after this game, following this game, who's number 1 for you?
It's tough, bro, because if, leading into this game, I would have said LeBron. After this game, LeBron is still, he scored 34 tonight, 34, 6 and 6, and they lost by 1 point. So I can't say that completely turns the table, but it is closer than it was before. But I'm still going to give the slight edge to LeBron.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm gonna throw a little bit of the narrative base in there too. I mean, he's 36, 18th season. I'm gonna throw that's the.
You think his narrative's better than Joel finally kind of established, like finally reaching this level of play where it's always been like, yeah, he can be a top 5 player, but he can't do it for 4 quarters. And now he's finally doing it,
Yeah, I get it.
And I just think that after the disaster of last season, and
I just think like you said earlier in the pod, Joel has never had this much of a cohesive unit around him. I don't think he's like much more talented or skilled than he's ever been. I just think that he's a little bit more in shape and that he has a way more cohesive unit around him, and he's flourishing in that, and I give him credit for that for sure. It's just more that LeBron is he's forcing this team to go, even when they don't really want to go sometimes, when they're like, hey, we're the Lakers, we're the champions. Let's just chill.
I watch Sixers every night. So my number 1 is Joel, but it's not like LeBron's right there. And there's just no doubt in my mind. And for me, I'll get into Joel in a little bit, but for me, it's just the 2-way play. But for LeBron, man, the game management skills are unparalleled. I've never seen somebody be able to manage a game like him, because it's, we'll get into some of these players like Kawhi and Giannis, but some players there's just not all 30 points are created equal, And I feel like LeBron is always calculated about when he's scoring, when he's getting a run going. Like I said that earlier, like Joel hits that bullshit shot. Now they're up 13, but he's like, no, fuck that. Like, we're not going to just let this slip away. So I'm going to hit a 3, boom, right back in it. It's shit like that, where he just always seems to answer and always seems to understand when he needs to turn it on and when he needs to get everyone going so they can make a run or something like that. It's just incredible. And he's 36. And I love this stat. He has not missed a game this season.
Of course not, bro. I don't even why would he? He's a fucking machine. He just is that's part of the narrative base, is that he's this old. He's the oldest superstar in the league. He's scoring, just as well as he always has. He's defending and assisting and doing all the things he's literally always done. Doc Rivers literally said today, he's like, this is the same LeBron we saw 5 years ago, but better. 5 years ago.
Well, because if you look at stats, his shooting field goal percentage wise is not that great, or not great compared to what he, some seasons he's averaged 60 before, so he's only averaged 50 this year, but he's shooting 41 from 3, and he's shooting a good handful of those 3s a game. So that efficiency along with scoring 26 a game and then 7 and 7 or 8 and 8, whatever it is every night. But like I said,
it's unreal.
I just think there's a difference between the stats that he's putting up and then someone like Luka who's putting up, where I just think LeBron is on a whole nother level of being able to manufacture the right amount of points and the right amount of stuff for their team to win. You guys are the best team in the league, and that's why.
Yeah, I agree. With Joel, the 2-way is very, very valid. I think that when he's in the paint, everybody's afraid of him, and that's just
Schroeder, straight up gave up a wide open layup. He had it. Joel wasn't there, but he was, you know what I mean? And he just gave up a layup because he was there. And that's just that psychological thing he has, because he's a fucking monster. And I just watch it. I watch him every game. So obviously my opinion's gonna be a little biased, but when he is locked in, and now that he has a stamina to play 4 quarters, it's just between how hard of a carry he is on offense, and then how fucking he's dominating.
Impactful. Yeah, for sure. My only knock is on his, and it's because of my purist mindset of the foul baiting and stuff. That's my only knock, is that his 27.5 points per game, he shoots a ton of free throws, and
leads
a lot
the league
of
in free throws.
Leads the league in free throws.
But that's totally a skill,
It is 100%. Yeah.
I think there is a reliance on it for sure. And it could come playoff time, that could be a thing, but this is a regular season award. It's not about what it's going to mean in playoff time. It's just not.
He's never
So,
shot the ball this well either. He's never shot over
oh, he's
40%
shooting
from three.
40 from three. The highest he shot before that was like 32, which is like
Hmm.
well below the league average at like 36.
Yeah, and
So
then he's
his
over averaging over a steal per game now too, the highest in his career. So he's
yeah,
got a little
steal and
bit of the
block.
yeah.
And like the blocks are always a little misleading because just people don't go up on him. He doesn't have the ability to block the shot a lot
Hmm.
because yeah, they don't he doesn't let people take shots on him. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The shooting is kind of crazy right now, and I have to expect it to drop to fall to earth a little bit because yeah, he's never shot this well in his life. But I do think there is some real changes to his game it's all decision making. It was first he needed to get in shape so he could do the things he needs to do, but it was also decision making of when and where to pick his spots and just react to what the teams are doing. Because with bigs, it's all about what the defense is, how they're reacting to you. You can't
Hmm.
just go barreling through the lane because you're so fucking massive. It's going to be an offensive foul or whatever. Or you
Yeah.
can't just go through double teams all the time. You have to like pick and choose and pass out of the double and stuff like that. And I just think this year he's unparalleled with his decision making and kind of like tonight. I was super curious about what he would do against Marc Gasol because Marc Gasol is just historically as somebody has always been a dum against, and the reason why is because Joel's before this season I think was always kind of like I can just do whatever I want. I want to do that. I want to do that play. I just want to do this, and he would run into a wall like somebody like Marc Gasol, and he would kind of like I'm gonna do it anyway, but it wouldn't work. But this time around, this year, I just feel like he understands what matchup is what they're going to give him and what he can take. And I just think his decision making is just way better, and that's why he's playing the way he is.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, I agree with you, and it's obviously translating. He's flourishing in this new system, and yeah, he's just better decision making. He's another year older, and I'm sure he's getting tired of these defeats. There's like 3 years in a row they got bounced in the playoffs, and he doesn't take losing lightly. So I think that he's finally just like, let's do what I got it. I'll do whatever I got to
There
do
is
to
a bit
be.
of a fuck you attitude. I love it, and I think
Mhm.
there's been this point made by some other people that like not having fans might be like one of the best things that's happened to him this season. Of there seemed to be a reliance on that energy from the crowd that he like he said he like I want to have fun, and that maybe that's just kind of where his focus was too much was like he needed that crowd, that hype to kind of get him going. But I think this season without those distractions, all on him, right? He needs to be focused, and I think that's kind of showing true. That might just be like a weird theory, but I think that there is an element of he now harnesses his energy and focuses a lot more instead of kind of like moping
Without the
around and that could be stamina related, but yeah, I think
Well,
that's
yeah,
points to be
without,
made.
I mean, I don't want to say like the distraction of the crowd, but like being conscious or aware of the crowd and
Yeah.
like either
Yeah.
playing into it or trying to ignore it or whatever. Just it's not even there anymore. It's just out
Yeah,
of the head
exactly.
completely. So I think we could all agree on the third on our MVP list here. So LeBron and Joel 1 and 2, 1A, 1B. It's hard to say. And even this guy, I would say, is close to 1C, if not just at the 2 seed. But I
Yeah.
think that's Nikola Jokic. My
Yeah.
man's is monster.
He's a monster. Obviously, I love Jokic because just pound for pound, just watching that guy play makes me smile. And I just,
Yeah.
I want to be happy. I want to be a happy guy. And he just makes me happy when I watch that guy play. So
Yeah.
I love him. But he also is battling my boy Embiid for best big in the league. And I love that Joel is playing like this. But Jokic is just Jesus Christ. I have never seen a big play like this offensively. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Greg Popovich called him Larry Bird, and that's Greg Popovich calling
I
him
really
Larry
like that.
Bird.
I like that comp honestly because
Yeah,
he is just Larry Bird in a 6'11" body because he's an elite playmaker and sees the floor in ways. Because I think Larry he had a little more scoring edge to him where Jokic seems to be hesitant or reluctant to kind of go off and because I feel like he could drop 40 anytime he wants. He just kind of doesn't want to sometimes.
yeah,
But that comp is definitely good because it just the smarts. Their smarts are so it's just really in a league of its own with the IQ and stuff like that. So
yeah. I
you
like
know,
the Larry comp too because the IQ, his shooting ability is there. He can stretch the floor,
yeah,
and then unathletic. He's not exactly going to be dunking on anybody or streaking down the lane or anything like that. But his knowledge of the game and his IQ is just so next level. He sees plays 3 steps ahead of other people, and he's able to throw passes that nobody else can throw because he can throw with his right or his left, and he can throw bounce passes or no look passes, or he could whip it to the corner with ease. It's just like, and throw it right in their pocket. So, he's averaging an insane 25, 11, and 8.9 assists per game. 9
I think
assists,
he's like
basically.
third in the league in
Second or
assists.
third at this
Second or
point.
third. I
At
know he
one
was
point,
first for a little bit.
yeah, at one point he was first, and he was averaging a whole ass triple double. But he's also shooting over 56% from the field. So it's just insane. Nuggets are on a 5-game win streak. They started off kind of slow, but now they're up to 4th in the West. So that's kind of what solidifies him right there.
Yeah, and I think why I would give Embiid the edge is the two-way, because I just think the two-way is just something that, because it's like he can dominate for a 3-minute stretch, where Jokic, he's not a bad defender. I wouldn't say he's a bad defender, but I don't think he's a very impactful one. And you can see that because the Nuggets teams, his young Nuggets teams over the last couple of years, they're not defensive stalwarts. That's just not that's not them. But they are incredibly offensively when he's on the floor. So this insane statistic. This was before tonight's game. I think they played the Heat, who didn't have any of their players.
Yeah.
But when Jokic is on the floor, their offense is a league leading number 1 in the league. When he's off, 30th. There are 30 teams in the NBA. So
dead last. Dead last
when he's off the floor.
That's insane.
That discrepancy is insane. I think the Sixers wouldn't be a playoff team without Embiid, but there is just zero chance this team is a playoff team. They might be the worst team in the league if it's not.
That's what I was gonna say. If Jokic isn't on that team, they could very well be the bottom of the league, because defensively they're really solid. They'd probably be like a top 12 defense still without Jokic, but they would be 30th offensively. That's a bad team. You're not making the playoffs. You're not doing anything without that.
Yeah, and obviously with star players, you function with them. So like when you're not there, it's kind of like, well, we can't just be a new team all of a sudden. So I get the idea of like, well, if you kind of came into the season without the knowledge that you had that guy on your team, it might be different. But the talent really isn't there. Losing Jeremy and Mason Plumlee was definitely a huge hit to them. And I think they're picking it up now. And MPJ, if he's going to continue to be a solid player like he showed the other night, that could be something big. But they do not have the depth that they seemingly had at the trade deadline last season, when they had to get rid of players to, shrink their depth a little.
Yeah, their depth chart. Yeah, it is pretty crazy. So who you got for 4th? What do you think? What's your pick if you had to go in a hierarchy?
I have to do Kawhi. Kawhi is just too efficient. He's just too good, and this team's too good to not put him there.
Yeah.
I think somebody like Giannis makes sense, but I really don't like the feel of the Bucks. The feeling from the Bucks, I just don't like it. He hasn't improved, which it's hard. It's hard when you set that bar and to kind of keep jumping over that bar over and over again. He's putting up practically identical numbers, but every time I watch him play, he airballs one time. His free throw percentage is 54, shooting 54%. 58? Is that what I wrote?
Yeah.
Jeez, I just feel like I wanted to say 54 because Shaq or something. It's getting Shaq territory. It's really weird. And he's just not a late game scorer like we want him to be. And maybe he never will be. But like if you're gonna be a top 5 3-time MVP, like you're gonna have to kind of develop that. And I just don't like the feel of it. So yeah, I'd take Kawhi. Just the Clippers are really good. No one wants to talk about them. We don't want to talk about them, but Kawhi's really good. But I also think like Kawhi and Giannis, they're both just those guys that could score 30 points. And you're kind of like, huh, they scored 30? Like, that's interesting. It's because they play in the flow of the game, but they're not necessarily the kind of people that can just like take over. Kawhi has been, he's done that in the 2019 playoffs. We all seen that version of himself. But just he is propelling the best team, like technically record wise now the best team in the West. So
yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. Well, actually, the Jazz technically record wise have the best team in the West now.
Oh, really? Tonight. They really have shot up like that? That's crazy.
They won 10 straight, and they won again tonight, and then Clippers lost last night, and Lakers lost tonight. So
they did lose the Hawks last night. So that makes sense.
So I'm gonna go with Kawhi as well. He's averaging 26 a game. He's also averaging a career high in assists. He's still averaging right around 5 rebounds, and he's averaging 2 steals, which is just super Kawhi-esque, top 5 in steals. And he's also 50, 40, 90 this season.
Yeah, the efficiency is crazy. 50, 40, 90 club. That's okay. So while we were on this 50, 40, 90, Do you just think everyone's stats are just a little bumped up from just no fans?
100%,
Because
bro.
we're a quarter away, right? Like it's a decent sample size.
It's real now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting a little real. Some of these shooting numbers are fucking ridiculous. Like
Hmm.
it's just LeBron shooting over 40% from three. Joel shooting over 40% from three.
Yeah.
Seth Curry is shooting over 50% from three.
Dude, Alex Caruso and KCP are both shooting over 50% from three. It's
Yeah,
insane.
yeah.
You know
And
what's funny though is that Steph Curry is not shooting that great from three, and it's honestly because he's Steph Curry. It doesn't matter if there's fans there or not. He's getting those double teams, and he's never going to have somebody not
he
move to him.
shoots. I think he's shooting like a pinch under 40%, but he also shoots almost 12 of them a game. Like
He he
it's
also
so
feeds
many.
off that home crowd too. I mean, the Oracle Arena, and now it's the Chase Center, but like that was, man, that stretch the last 5 years, that was just, he fed off that. If he hit two
Yeah.
in a row, the crowd was begging for it, and he wanted it. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna shoot one from fucking 40, and y'all are gonna be loving this, and I'm gonna run around like a crazy person." And we all just nom, 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 ate it up. We loved it, and now it's just kind of like I think he really likes the crowd energy. I think he plays out of that a lot more.
Oh yeah.
Whereas some people kind of shy away from it. I think that Steph kind of flourishes in that. So,
Oh yeah, no
um,
doubt.
and that's a good transition. I'm going to put Steph as my number 5 spot right there.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
between him. Yeah, it's between him, Katie, Giannis, and Donovan Mitchell for me. But I'm going to give Steph the slight edge, probably for a little bit of bias. I've always been a big fan. But if you look at these other guys, like, KD, he's got two other superstars with him. I know that he hasn't had James Harden all season, and he's averaging 30. It's great and all. But, Giannis, 50% from the free throw line. Ain't no MVP shooting 50% from the free throw line unless your name is Shaquille O'Neal, in my opinion. And then Donovan Mitchell, he might not even be the most impactful player on his team. Without Steph on the Warriors, bruh, this team is horrible. They are at the bottom of the league. He's averaging over 30.
They just have no shot creation.
They got no juice, nothing, and shooting over 50% from the field and right around 40% from three, averaging almost 30, right around 30. He's Steph.
And he
He's
just still
doing
has
it.
that gravity to his game. When he turns it on, you've seen it firsthand against the Lakers a week or so ago, or when that was. When he turns it on and he leads those runs like that, you get lost in it. Everyone gets lost in it, and he's playing his own game, and everyone's just like, what's happening? We got a layup. Okay, he stole the ball. Oh, he shot off the dribble three. Fuck, what's happening? Like,
Yes.
It's just chaos, and he thrives in it.
100%. So he's going to get my 5th spot right there.
I kind of like that because like KD in a vacuum and like the stats and just the way he's playing, he's a top 5 player and he's still one of the best, and there's no doubt about it. But this is a regular season award. There's narratives that are at play. There's are you having to share with other people? Like, yeah, which is going to be KD's case for moving forward. Their record isn't that great, and he's missed a handful of games. He's missed about like 5 or so. So
exactly, yeah. So all those reasons right there is why Steph just gets a slight edge on them. It's not a lot because the Warriors are kind of at the 8 seed right now. It's not great, but they are technically playoff bound, and without him averaging these 30 points, it's like they got nothing. They'd be just as bad as the Nuggets without Jokic. So.
They'd battle for the worst seed in the league.
Yeah. What do you say for the 5th spot there? We could do top 5. I think that's good.
Yeah, I think I would take Steph, just because they are in the pack for top 8 seed or whatever, and I think they're like 6th or 5th right now. We didn't get to see the final result of the Timberwolves game tonight. But yeah, he's the whole engine that makes it go. Draymond is not scoring any points. I think he averages like a 4 points a game, something like that. He has just gone full pass first point guard status. Like, he is just nothing but a rebounder that passes. That's all he does, and plays smart defense and team defense.
Yeah, good defender. Yeah,
but yeah, Steph is just great. I love Steph, and the way he's playing is it's fun to watch. Like Jokic, it just put a smile on my face. I love the energy, and yeah, just like it's a most valuable player, right? And sometimes I think we get lost in all this, but like, how valuable is that player to his team? And I think it's just, unquestioned. It's similar to Jokic. It's similar to Embiid. It's similar to LeBron in a way. So.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny. I feel like with LeBron and Steph over the last few years, you kind of, if you came into basketball recently, you kind of pick one or the other, right? It's either you're a LeBron fan or you're a Steph fan. If you like LeBron, you probably hate Steph. If you really like Steph, you probably hate LeBron. I'm one of these weird kind of in the middle somehow with where my fandom ended up. I love them both. They might be my two favorite players in the league, honestly. Because without
Damn,
Clay,
I
well,
can't believe it's gotten this far. I just
it's
cannot believe
insane,
it.
dude. It's
It's
insane.
insane.
But
But
Dame
you're
is
watching,
there
watching
too.
LeBron every night, and
Yeah,
that's the thing is once you're watching a player every single night and you're seeing the things he does, and just, I mean, he plays basketball and just like we love all these guys. We talk about B, we talk about Jokic, we talk about Steph and how special he is. Like LeBron, it's just the control and the game management is so untouched and so just
yeah.
man,
And
it's
I'm just too old to be a hater at this point, man. It's like this is the best player I've ever seen in my lifetime. Like, not a doubt. LeBron's second best all time. I'm gonna sneeze.
oh no, don't do it. What is
All
it?
right, maybe
Elephant?
not.
Elephant? No, I don't know.
Grapefruit? I don't know.
Grapefruit. Look at the look at the lights.
I don't have any. I'm panicking.
I'm panicking.
Okay.
Well,
Anyway, LeBron,
yes.
best player I've ever seen in my lifetime. I'm not
Yeah.
going to be a hater anymore, bro. I'm going to appreciate it while it's here because it's not going to be here much longer, and I'm going to be sad when it's gone because I don't know if we're going to see anything like it for a long time. So,
I
I'm just done
appreciate it.
being a hater.
Who are you a hater of?
Anthony Davis.
Okay. I think yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to throw that back up.
No, I'm just playing.
I figured you'd go somewhere else with it.
Honestly, it's a good question. This is kind of a crazy one, but I'm not a big Luca fan.
No, I know you I think you planted that seed a little bit ago. I think it might have been like during the bubble. But I kind of noticed it during last season where I was like, okay, he's great, but like it's kind of a little cock, you know?
He's a little shit in a lot of ways, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of that's being 20. I mean, he's a kid.
Well, yeah,
He's not a grown man yet.
well, I think he's 21 now, right?
Okay, sure, 21.
He's
Even then,
21, but also he's 21 and he's like the kind of like the face of the league in a way. So like, yeah, it's
yeah,
gonna be kind of a little, yeah, arrogant.
yeah, and he's got the talent to back it up. And honestly, his game is a lot of fun to watch. I'm not shitting on anything to do basketball related wise. It's just you know the foul baiting. It's all the stuff that I am not a huge fan of. It's the foul baiting. It's the ball dominance. And I get that LeBron is like that too. So I sound like I'm contradicting myself in these two different breaths here, but it's different. LeBron is game management in a way that's effective and it produces wins. Where Luca, it's like, yeah, they're borderline playoff 6, 7, 8 seed, something like that. But with the amount of ball dominance that he has, and the amount of foul baiting that he does to not translate into the wins, it's
just like I know everyone bitches, but I feel like his level of like constant nagging at the ref. I think most of the top players are kind of like that. LeBron can be like that too, but he just doesn't really seem to let things go. Like man, it just seems like sometimes when I'm watching, I'm like, Jesus, Luca, just get your ass back on the defensive side of the floor and just let it go. Fucking A.
But it's funny because he probably got that from LeBron. He said that LeBron was his favorite player of all time growing up, and LeBron is very much like that. That is one part of LeBron's game that really pisses me off is when he doesn't get a foul call or he doesn't get his way, and he does not get him back on defense, and he just bitches. And thankfully, we have a good enough squad that we can rotate enough for LeBron to be able to get back still. And I think he's probably deep down aware of that. But still, it's just like watching it, and I'm just like, bro, come on, get back there.
I know it's just really frustrating to kind of see like most every team have a guy that's like just bitch, and like most players are doing it. It's just like I get it, you want your calls, but fuck, man, like you ain't gonna get them all. They ain't gonna get it all right. And I don't know. That is kind of ironic that I'd say that because I think me and you are the worst at handling refs in basketball situations. So
that doesn't count, bro. That's City League. Those refs are bullshit, dude.
Yeah, those refs are trash. I agree. Yeah. So
any other one more player I'm a hater of? Obviously,
go right ahead.
We've talked about it before. It's Paul George, and that's once again not so much basketball related. I actually think his game is really beautiful. I think he's super talented, but it's just all the bullshit that he says. It just like I just can't wrap my mind around it, man. And like I just can't vibe with it. If you're saying some stupid shit like that,
I don't know who vibes with it. That's the whole thing. Like, I don't know who does.
If you're a PG fan, it is 100% because of the product on the floor. It is because of his skills. It is nothing to do with his personality or any of that stuff.
Yeah, you want to go watch this documentary about how he re-signed in OKC and then 1 year later asked demands for a trade. Just weird.
Blows up the whole thing for fucking going to the Clippers and then blowing a 3-1 lead.
Well, I'll share mine. I don't know if I've made this clear on this pod really much or not. I just don't like Trey. I just don't. I don't know why I can't get on board. But if you want to talk about like foul baiting, his style of foul baiting is, I just don't really like the 3-point revolution of like the baiting the fouls. And I get it. Fucking Zaza, man. God, that fucking asshole. He just started all this shit. Zaza. Fuck.
In a lot of ways, Zaza is really why the league is the way that it is today. In a lot of ways.
And I just don't like jump shot fouls and like expecting that you should go to the line for a bullshit shot that it's like, I get Joel. It's like he does the wrap around and he kind of gets, you put your hands in the cookie jar. I'm going to bat. But like Trey, he does that thing where somebody tries to fight through a screen and then he runs into them as they're fighting through a screen. And then he like bitches and whines about a foul call. Like, I don't like it. And if Steve Nash doesn't like it, then I feel justified in what I said. That, like I feel justified in my thoughts. And
did you see the trend where it was like on the day that Steve Nash made this comment and then Trae Young's statistics, it was like plummeted for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, he was doing bad there for a little while, but I think he's starting to pick it back up because now
I think
they're above 500. But I didn't see that, but I did notice like for a little while there, he just kind of wasn't getting.
It was crazy. I saw like it was the exact date that Steve Nash made his comments, and then on that date that Trae Young played, and then for the next like 5 or 6 games afterwards, it was bad. He was.
That sucks because I can, in a way, I can imagine he loved him. Small guy.
He's came out and said that Steve Nash was his favorite player growing up, which is not surprising. So that's got to be a bit disheartening. It's like if I were to make it to the NBA and then Kobe was like, I don't like this guy's game, I'd be like, I'm retired, bro. I can't do it.
He was testing me, and I don't want
it. I quit. Mama mentality's not for me.
Go to the G League.
I'm out of here, man. I'm just gonna be a coach.
But all right. Got anything else, Jmo, for us?
I don't think so. I feel a lot better now that I got some of that off my chest. I was trying to complain to some of the kids at my job today, and they were like looking at me like, why are you so mad? And I'm like, because Anthony Davis isn't trying. Look he's a superstar.
Do those kids even like teams, or do they just like players?
One kid I know, he's a Utah Jazz fan.
I think I know which kid you're talking about.
Yeah, you probably do. Yeah, the Sharp Young.
Yeah,
these
sure.
are he's a shooter, but he likes Donovan Mitchell and the Jazz. So
okay. I just figure most of these kids these days are just all players, and because if you like a player and then he leaves, and then just like, well, if I like this team for 2 years, what am I just going to keep liking this team? Yeah. My dumbass was a young kid was like, Sixers AI. And then I kept with it. I don't,
Yeah, same. I picked one player and one team and I rode the wave. I've endured
the sadness since, and things are looking good. I don't know how to feel. This is the Bench Squad.
This is the Bench Squad. And we'll see you next time with hopefully happier vibes from your boy Jmo here.